the wine system was always functioning properly. Often, though, what they found was that enemies were forgetting their objectives, leading to broken gameplay where
What?
Often, though, what they found was that enemies were forgetting their objectives, leading to broken gameplay where they no longer saw the player or attacked them, which meant the player could not progress past those sequences. So much could have been done in the earlier properly. Often, though, what they found was that enemies were forgetting their objectives, leading to broken gameplay where they no longer saw the player or attacked them, which meant the player could not progress past those sequences. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. It states that more than 14,000 bugs were discovered and fixed before launch. To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding A bugs, the So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the post-mortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. It states that more than 14,000 bugs were discovered and fixed before launch. To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. One day,
Hey, Chris. Oh, just trying to make some headway on this video that should have been done a long time ago. Let's see. Where'd it go? Here? Ah, that wasn't even the right one. That's the right one. That's a good way to look at it, that's true. This is the one I want. That's not what I want. I want this. Wait, where am I saving these? What? Weird. Did I get a PNG or something? There we go.
to help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding A bugs, the rare, nasty ones. She was able to find bugs no one else could. Initially, each developer who was assigned to her bugs got frustrated due to the time commitment in fixing them. Then we asked her to join the team, equipped her with a development kit, and with her working on the game itself, we got our A bugs curve back to normal. We replicated the model to up to 4 integrated testers within the team. This dramatically accelerated the pace of finding and fixing bugs, freeing some time for the developers to focus on the fixing side. Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game data was stored in one
Oh, good. Good. Glad that I could finally rope in some people who knew what they were talking about. I liked them too. I thought they were really fun to talk to.
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game data was stored in one master file that contained everything for the developers to review: maps, models, AI, and the rest. Everything was centralized in this file except sound and videos. The situation didn't allow for multiple concurrent data access on the same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. We inherited a system that was designed with a small team in mind, but it didn't scale well to an army of 45 in crunch mode. Many problems occurred. Data was overwritten, the server crashed, files got corrupted. A lot of time was wasted because people had to wait for their turns to enter their changes on the network. Fortunately, a solution was found to this down the line, but a lot of time had been wasted because of it. By the time E3 2003 rolled around, completing the game at the standard of quality that had been set seemed impossible. Luckily, the team was such a tight-knit group with shared vision that morale stayed high even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things.
I feel like I'm literally just narrating the postmortem. It's like way too much. I shouldn't have done it that way. I shouldn't have quoted him so much. I should have summarized it. This entire section of the review is really boring. Wrong folder. I don't think I can just cut the recording because, like, this whole block tells, like, a full story of what happened with finding the right tester, right? I think the only way I could solve it is if I didn't quote him like this, but if I just took this exact same thing and summarized it in my own words. Same here. I think these two might be okay to leave them as they are. I think that's the end of them anyways. Well, now there's some here, but I don't think that, like, I can just go through it and see what I can cut. It's possible that I could cut this line. And maybe I could cut the rest of this. I don't know. It kind of seems necessary to the story, though. I don't know. I don't know. Just feels really, really boring to me to be doing it this way.
Fortunately, a solution was found to this down the line, but a lot of time had been wasted because of it. By the time E3 2003 rolled around, completing the game at the standard of quality that had been set seemed impossible. Luckily, the team was such a tight-knit group with shared vision that morale stayed high even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of that morale stayed high even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. In addition, the game's scope was reduced at two key periods of development. The first came during Christmas of 2002, a time far enough away from release to delude the team a bit, who still believed they had plenty of time. However, ultimately the right decision was made, cutting an entire chapter taking place in a slave village. We accepted this decision because, in the end, taking place in a slave village. We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time. The second scope reduction came after E3 2003, where it became much more clear that they wouldn't have time to do everything they had planned. It meant that a lot of work they were proud of, that they had spent a lot of time on, would be lost. Ultimately, though, it was the price that had to be paid to deliver a satisfying experience in time for release. And to be honest, I think the game is better for it. Of course, I can't say that for sure. I don't know what was cut or how it would have flowed had they had time to include everything they had been planning. What I do know is this: Sands of Time is perfectly paced as it is. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha.
Hi, Rob. How's it going?
Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration.
Wait a minute. Man, you've had a lot of internet problems, haven't you? In that place. Who's your internet provider? They freaking suck. What the F? Didn't I have a composition with that in it? I don't understand. Well, I could put it in here like this. Oh, there you are. I think I should do it that way though, because it's too small. I should do it this way. It's phone lines. Do you live in a pretty old area of England? Wait a minute. Here it is. What I need is to look at this from front. Wait a minute, let's do it this way. Put it up on the spot. That, and then rotate this way. 8 degrees. I don't know how this will look, but we'll see. That's gonna look weird. Yep, it's not gonna work at all. Oops, wrong one. That way. Management's always an issue. I've had a lot of bad management in my renting days. See, it's about to come into view. Maybe it will barely come into view. Do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. For 1 1 second animation where the camera turns over here. Wow, it's really big. Probably want to do another rotation as well. A X rotation, right? Nope. A Z rotation. Look. Oh, fetch. What? That makes sense. Hold on. I want it to look. Sure, I do this right. I want it to look up. Why are they both spinning? That makes sense. One of them should be looking up. Just spins it as well. This is really weird because this tilts it this way. It doesn't make sense. Well, that's balls. Guess I'll have to rely on position. Moved up here. Oh, there's music. It's just that I'm in After Effects right now, so I just imported the audio of my narration so that I can sync it.
According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. It states that more than 14,000 bugs were discovered and fixed before launch.
Tales of Vesperia. Is that one any good?
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation...
Oh, wait. Is Vesperia the one, like the most... No, that's Berseria. Berseria is the most recent one.
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were...
Then I need to move again to another one. Okay, let's just smooth out this animation for now. Fetch.
So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the postmortem, that
I don't like that at all. First of all, it's too fast. Second of all, I think I want to move it here a little more. It's probably because these also need to be F9 to like that. That's why it looks so janky. Yeah, that's way better. Now, I'm also going to turn it this way. The balls? What's going on here? A little trickier, but we'll get it. That direction. Something like that. Maybe not. It's an interesting move. Need to move quicker to the side, though. Wait, what the fetch? How? What? Okay, we have another problem with this freaking keyframe interpolation. Something's whack. That wasn't even close to right. Go from there. Here. What the balls? Makes no sense. I don't understand that at all. If I copy this. Delete it. I must have had two keyframes right next to each other. There we go. Let's see. Vesperia is about 10 years old, but was released in the last year on PS4. It has some serious ups and downs, some things surprisingly good and a lot very annoying. Watching lore is a better option than continuing on myself. Yeah, show us a bit of leg. Yeah, I know, seriously. What's going on with that?
So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. It states that more than
I'm actually curious now, but if I take this out, what will it look like? I think if I started it a little further out, a little that way, wouldn't look too bad. I think that'll look smoother than what I was doing before.
So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as they occurred. Meanwhile, we were creating a mountain of bugs to deal with later. According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. It states that more than 14,000 bugs were discovered and fixed before launch. To help, so much could have been done.
Now I need another one. Which page is it? So much could have been done. Okay. Just need to import that now. There. 3D. Alright. We need it to be rotated 180 degrees. Needs to go this way. Possibly a little bit this way. Well, maybe not. Do that. Go back to the main camera here. Do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I guess I could go 6 more frames technically to get a full second out of it, but fix the other one later. Position, Y rotation. So Y rotation is going to flip around. Look at that part over there. Position is going to swing over here. Close and personal. It's going to go this way.
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. One day, we realized that one of our...
Dang it. I have the wrong thing in here. I need the QA testers, not the bugs.
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation.
Do that again.
To help make headway on that process,
Right there.
to help make headway on that process, 14 To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs.
Oh, wait, what the fetch?
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs.
Don't love that. That looks good. I think this is maybe just rotated too much. It's sliding too far to the right.
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to help make headway.
Yeah, fetch that. It needs to be further over here. Keep it centered better in the middle of the frame. Still, I think, going too far to the right. But it's better than it was.
To help make headway on that process, 14 PlayStation 2 development kits were provided to the team, 4 of which were solely dedicated to QA testers with the task of recreating very rare crash bugs. One day, one day,
It's gonna need to like zoom up.
crash bugs. Crash bugs. One One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding A bugs, the rare, nasty ones. She was able to find bugs no one else could. Initially, each developer who was assigned to her bugs got frustrated due to the time commitment in fixing them. Then we asked her to join the team, equipped her with a development kit, and with her working on the game itself, we got our A bugs curve back to normal. One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding A bugs, the rare, nasty ones. She was able to find bugs no one else could. Initially, each developer who was assigned to her bugs got frustrated due to the time commitment in fixing them. Then we asked her to join the team, equipped her with a development kit, and with her working on the game itself, we got our A bugs curve back to normal. We replicated the model to up to 4 integrated testers within the team. This dramatically accelerated the pace of finding and fixing bugs, freeing some time for the developers to focus on the fixing side. Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to unnecessary frustration. Mala writes that game data was stored.
Holy fetch. Way too many quotes. Went overboard with the quotes. I really did.
One day,
that needs to move faster.
One day,
Fire as well. Weird. Fetch. Go up. There.
One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding a bug.
Still not fast off.
One day, we realized that one of our testers was great at finding A bugs, the rare, nasty ones. She was able to find bugs no one else could. Initially, each developer who was assigned to her bugs got frustrated due to the time commitment in fixing them. Then we asked her to join the team, equipped her with a development kit, and with her working on the game itself, we got our A bugs curve back to normal. We replicated the model to up to 4 integrated testers within the team. This dramatically accelerated the pace of finding and fixing bugs, freeing some time for the developers to focus on the fixing side. Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration.
Oops.
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mala writes that game
What on earth are you doing? Why are you rendering that hard?
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mala writes that game data was stored in one master file that contained everything for the developers to review: maps, models, AI.
What the fudge? That means I'm gonna have to put 2 of them in there. Holy fetch. Okay, well, I do have the correct. Thing in there. To be rotated. Frick. No. Wait, what am I looking at here? Why do I have 2 of the same thing? Hold on, what the F? start off on that? Oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? Okay. Okay, I get it now. Okay, I know what I did. I know what I did now. I've got it. This one. Not the one. This one is the one. Needs to be turned this way. Right? Yes. Roughly the same. Oops, that's not what I have to do. What position is this at? 902. And probably a little bit closer. Turn it all the way over there. Move it this way.
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game.
What in the fetch was that? Why is it not moving at all? Did I create two again? Yes, I did.
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game data was stored in one master file that contained.
Nope. This direction.
Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game data was stored in one master file that contained everything for the developers to review: maps, models, AI, and the rest. Everything was centralized in this file except sound and videos. The situation didn't allow for multiple concurrent data access on the same file, at least Lastly, the way the engine was built also led to a number of setbacks and unnecessary frustration. Mallah writes that game data was stored in one master file that contained everything for the developers to review: maps, models, AI, and the rest. Everything was centralized in this file except sound and videos. The situation didn't allow for multiple concurrent data access on the same file, at least without written permission. It didn't allow for multiple concurrent data access on the same file. Same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. We inherited a system that was designed same file, at least without written same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. We inherited a system that was designed with a small team in mind, but it didn't scale well to an army of 45 in crunch mode. Many problems occurred. Data was overwritten, the server crashed, files got corrupted. A lot of time was wasted because people had to wait for their turns to enter their changes on the network. Same file.
This isn't gonna look good.
Same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. Same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. We inherited a system that was designed with a small team in mind, but it didn't scale well to an army of 45 in crunch mode. Many problems occurred. Data was overwritten, the server crashed, files got corrupted. A lot of time was wasted.
Dang, this is hard. To get it to not cut off the words.
Same file, at least
Fetching A. Move this way more. Also move this way more, I guess. Is that? Oh, the words do not get cut off. Ooh, we're close. Close to what we want. A little bit more.
same file,
What
at
the
least
fetch
without
was that? What in the fetch was that? What the fetch was that? Over here, dummy. I think I have Completed the basic animation for the camera.
Same file, at least without written permission. We soon realized our team had become too large to allow everyone access to the master files at the same time. We inherited a system that was designed with a small team in mind, but it didn't scale well to an army of 45 in crunch mode. Many problems occurred. Data was overwritten, the server crashed, files got corrupted. A lot of time was wasted because people had to wait for their turns to enter their changes on the network. Same.
Okay. So, yeah, I think the basic camera animation is done. This, for some reason, is not lining up with the edge of that. Is it now? I feel like it is just a little more. There. Okay, so that's fixed.
Same file.
Now I have to make it look good, which will entail motion blur. I'll do that last, but I need mostly like backgrounds. So that's not just black in the background. But that also means I'm going to have to do some boxing with my background. This backdrop is also, I don't think it's long enough. Even close to long enough to like work. There it is back there, right? Probably going to scale it way, way higher in order to like cover that turn. Oh, there was a moment. Where I wasn't covering it. There, it's going to scale up even higher. Probably just going to have to duplicate it a bunch of times. That's going to be super noticeable, isn't it? Dang it. How long is that backdrop? Composition. Make it like 2 minutes long. Let's see how far I can stretch out this dust wave. I think I can stretch it out very far. But I could start another one. Where are my dust waves at? Go dust wave 2. Can start up kind of in the middle and then scale. Scale. And put all the same effects on it. Transparency 40. Next one. Or I think what I'll do instead is this, where it's already there, but we'll go like 0 to 40 after like a few seconds. did I just do? Effing stop. There. So it's be like kind of fade in. Could do that a little less noticeably. That's pretty good. Can't really even tell. It's almost like more sand. In fact, I think I want to do that, but like here. Oh, we're dying off. Some more pops in. Then we'll need dust wave 3. Just start looking like it's gonna die. Oh, that one needs to fade off. 42 0. Oh yeah, and then all this crap has to keep going forever. What are you doing? Stop. So opacity start fading off. All right. There, 0. Nope. Transparency is what I want. Dust wave 5. one a little higher, like 50. Excuse me. That one probably needs to be higher than 50. All right, let's just see where we're at. So I actually don't need to do this backdrop a bunch of times now. Do it once, and whoops, drag it way out as far as I need it to go. Oh, is it really still not long enough? That makes sense. Get to the beginning, you fetcher. All I really need to know is if it's going to be going dust through this first part of the animation. Still seems to be sand back there. Some more. Covers the background. Okay, so it only needs to last about that long, so we're good with this one. Doesn't need to be rendering at this point. Okay, now about here we need to duplicate it. It's going to need to go all the way to the end at this point. And top view. This background layer. Crap. Actually, just do the reverse. Negative whatever. Negative 28,000. So it's on that side and it needs to be flipped 180 degrees. That should theoretically give us the same thing just on the other side. I'm going to pull through here. We'll see more sand. Okay, so we don't need to render it once it gets to there. Duplicate it again. Move it to a part where it will be seen, which is right there. And just like go to the end. Still seeing sand at this point? Can't tell. It stopped having sand yet. Guess what I should be checking is when we do this larger move. Here is where I'm going to see. It does look like it is covering pretty much all the way through. Okay, that takes care of that. This is going to be crazy to render. Let's get some lights in here. Sure. Position. Down a bit. Just create some interesting shadows. Swing over here. There's no light on it. So duplicate that one, but rotate it. See this. Problem is that it's going to light this one up in the course of this animation. So like back. Let's just start it there. Transparency. 0. 2, 3, 4. We'll actually start it like right there. How would that look? Just do quarter for now. Just want to see. It's going to actually be like right there. This will do 120. Does that? It's getting too bright. Okay, and it'll light it up to there. And when it starts moving, do another light. Transparency is at 0 for now. It's gonna go to like 120 by right there. And rotate it over as well so that we can see this part. Something like that. Okay. It's going to move up there, right? And when it does that, I'm going to have to move its orientation, I think. Five, six, 7. It's going to have to move further over. Or maybe it needs to move up. Higher so we can see this. So, all the way down here. Like that. Okay, then we're gonna have another one. Wait a minute. Duplicate it. Delete all of its keyframes. It's gonna start there. Whoa. How is that lit so well? I don't understand. Maybe I should be turning off these lights as I go. Once we've moved over there, this light will fade off. Like by that time it'll be gone. And then same with this one. As soon as we start transitioning over there, to that side, it's also off. Okay. As we transition to here, it goes off. This one goes on. Or, I mean, in actuality, I don't even need to do that. Just leave that one on. It should light up the whole thing just fine. Come over that way. That'll be lit. Really interesting way. Look good. I think that when we hit there, I might move its position, but by the time we end, this come down, lit this better. I have no clue how that's all going to look. I don't think I have the processing power on this PC to render the whole thing. I do know I need to turn on motion blur. And we do like 15 seconds of this. Actually, how far does that even get us? I might not be able to see the sand very well. See if we can render even that far. It's going to be very slow. Okay, I can see the sand there. Hello, Dimmick Guy. I'm looking to see how the motion blur will look when this moves faster, and then I'm just going to render it because it's like a 2-minute animation, and it's going to take forever to pre-render it like this. No, I'm going to do my re-recording last, probably. That'll probably be the last step of the process. Once it's all done. Okay, let's just look at how this is going so far.
So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these.
Probably actually have it at full scale. Some weird aliasing going on. I don't know if that's just the preview window or if that's actually going to look like that in the end. What is my motion blur set to? Okay. When does it actually start animating over? It's a clever idea. I think I need more samples of like 32 samples. What if I went to 64 samples? I don't know why I'm killing myself with this. This is gonna be a lot higher render time if I do this, but yeah, it didn't really change anything, did it? Let's try 32 samples is probably fine, but let's also try a shutter angle of 270. Whoa, that looks wild. Getting really effed up. Let's stop. Back to 180 again. That didn't really change anything. Is it the samples that's causing that? Back to 16. What will that do? Weird. So weird. That motion blur is fetching whack. I don't even know why he's doing that. 360. Still get it a little bit. What does it look like at this part, though? Just like moving. Would help with the weird. That does look a little better. I won't be able to really know until it's in motion, but it seems like the aliasing looks a little better there. Was YouTube any easier back when everything was low res and low frame rate? I don't think I started uploading videos to YouTube until they had HD. I think my first YouTube video I uploaded was in 2010. And I'm pretty sure they had at least 720p resolution by then, but I'm pretty sure it was 1080 and 30 frames per second frame rate. I think they added 60 frames per second.
Once again, we were not.
Oh yeah.
Once again, we.
That looks way better now. I think they added 60 frames per second while we were kind of in the middle of doing our Warrior-Lasky thing. We did a couple videos at 60 frames per second. I can't remember why. I think it was a first-person view kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think I've ever uploaded something to YouTube that was constrained on resolution or frame rate, personally. Still gonna make those really weird motion blur shapes, but I don't think anyone will see that when it's in motion because it's gonna be moving kind of fast. It is very weird looking though. Very weird looking blur. This is going to take probably an hour to export when all is said and done. How far is this going? The blur looks good here though. It's nice and smooth. Seriously, how far are you going? I don't need to go that far. Right there or something. Just get a sense of what it's like.
According to the postmortem, that last statement was no exaggeration. According to the postmortem, that.
It's weird. It looks like it's brightening up a lot. Here it doesn't look like that, right? Like it doesn't look too bright. I think I need to decrease its brightness quicker. So I probably should start like as it's animating out. And probably like there, it needs to be significantly darker. So that when it's moving up, darkens. This one brightens. Probably doesn't need to go that fast, but that'll be better. Okay, I think I'm ready to export this. Let's do it. Save it first. This is going to take a very long time. It's going to be a very large file. I'm considering exporting it as an H.264 instead of a QuickTime, but I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to move it anyway, so we'll be fine. Not alpha. Not alpha, just RGB. Thank you. But this is going to be a huge file. I suspect probably 10 to 20 gigabytes. Long narration. Animation. I hope I don't have enough space on my desktop. That would kind of suck if it did. In fact, just to be safe, I think I'm going to put it onto this one, because that has more space. And now we wait. We wait for, I have no idea how long. Estimating 1 hour and 7 minutes. I think it probably won't take quite that long. It'll probably be about 40 minutes with the speed it's moving, I think. But still, it's pretty long. While we do that, I guess I can do something else here.
You expect to see him tomorrow?
Not that, though. I'm actually not sure. I could go in and do some more editing, but I don't want to crash my computer. My rain meter at... No, I just want to see. Dang it, how do I see where I'm at in terms of, like, if I were to do stuff in here at the same time as that's rendering? I think my RAM would be maximized. I'm not going to risk it. But I do need to find some footage to go in between there and then finish these two. And then I'll kind of be done with the development history section of the review. Should be good. Then the rest of this footage should just be footage of the game. I won't have to do any more of these After Effects sequences. Having done this one, though, I kind of want to go back and redo a couple of these. I think mostly these ones. To, like, make them look cooler. With, like, rotation and stuff. I think I was being a bit lazy before. I don't know. I'll consider it later. But it's just a small space for footage to go there, small space for footage to go there, and something there. And then that section of it will be finished. So I want to try and finish that up today, for sure. And then I think that, like, tomorrow I'll probably be able to cruise through quite a lot more. Because I won't be taking so much time trying to find video footage that is not necessarily from the game. You know, I think it takes longer to do these sections because there's a lot of, like, diverse kinds of footage going in there. But this is just going to be footage from the game, so it should be a lot easier to locate it and set it in there. So what I'm expecting is that tomorrow I'll be able to get through maybe up to, like, this point. So this point, the 21:30 mark, I'll complete, like, this entire section tomorrow. And then Saturday, I'll do that entire section. And it'll be done, and then it can be uploaded on Monday. That's the hope. Depending on how fast this renders, I might be able to get a little bit of a jump start on this section. Maybe get it done up to, like, there or something. And then that tomorrow. That on Saturday. Because this is music. This is the closing. So this would be gameplay, I think. Story. Music. Conclusion. So I actually had a meeting with Kaysen yesterday. Kaysen Sanjay, who's another guy. Well, he wrote the script for one video that we put up about Final Fantasy 15 and The Godfather. Anyways, he's a brand strategy expert. He's on our team. The idea for the website is that once we finish developing it, well, I'm not going to make that website. Like, Kaysen and I are planning it, so we're building the skeleton, and then we're going to pay a web developer to make it. But the idea of that website is that the vast majority of the content will be created by users. We're really going to push the community aspect of that website, and I think the simplest way to put it is that it will be YouTube, but for people to write their articles, think pieces, analyses on games. But users will have, like, their own channel, and people will be able to subscribe to them and read their articles and their thoughts on games. It'll also be an aggregate website where you can rate games, and we'll get, like, user aggregate scores for games, aside from, like, the Resonant Arc score on that stuff. So you'll be able to, like, we'll have, like, a database of, like, basically every video game. You'll be able to search and rate, create lists of your favorites, write reviews and articles yourselves, and depending on the popularity of them, people upvoting them and stuff like that, they could be featured on the site, and people can find you and follow you, and you can write about games and, like, build a following. So that's kind of the concept for the website. And so the vast majority of the content that would go up on that website would be created by users, not by me. That's what we're talking about for the most part. Yeah, aggregate FF rankings, exactly. Doom Guy says, okay, I remember you saying in the past that when things get rough, you tend to add more to your plate, so I was a little concerned that the website was that situation happening again. I'm not going to build that website. We're going to pay someone else to do it. So, Rob says, that does not sound like a small thing. Nope. And the reality could end up being that a website like that would cost $50,000.
If that's the case, then probably not going to happen. If it's between 10 and 20,000, we have enough money saved up in our Resonant Arc bank account to pay for that. Especially if we were to do it after a couple more months. Because we're not taking payouts right now. We haven't taken any payouts this whole year so far. We've kind of just been letting money accumulate in there. So I brought it up to the partners and said, hey, we can either take our percentages here, or we can invest in something that I think could be really cool and could potentially make a lot more money. Building a platform for users to do their own analysis on games. Kind of like YouTube, but with articles and just writing and sharing, community-focused sort of place. Rotten Chocobos. Yeah, it's kind of like Rotten Tomatoes combined with Reddit, combined with How Long to Beat, combined with like YouTube. That's my vision for it, is all of those things in one. So I don't know. I talked to one web developer about it who said it wouldn't be that hard, but from what we kind of built yesterday in terms of like planning for what the front page would do and all the interactivity, like what you'd be able to click and enter and like how you'd interact with it, it could end up being kind of expensive. I think that it would be a big hit. I think that website would do really well, personally. But it really does depend on how much it costs to build it out and make it. It's the kind of website I would use to make lists, like my top 10 JRPGs, because it's got a rating system built right into it. So the idea is that you'd come on the front page and you'd have like a rectangular shape here that would have all the new releases from that week. And it would say something like, played this yet? And you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many new games are out that week in their own kind of little boxes, right? With their own box art. And the idea is that you could click and rate that from the top page. You could click on it and like put in your own score for that thing right there. Or you can click on the art for the game and go into a page for that game that has more information. And it would also include the top reviews from users featured there at the front. It would include the top rated like think pieces, the most recent ones from users on that game. So people could browse that and find all kinds of different opinions from regular people. But rather than the Metacritic idea where people just like write terrible, like short bullcrap, very ill-thought sort of like responses, these would be people who are putting time, like a lot of time into putting their thoughts into it. It would be well thought. And of course, the users would be voting on which ones they thought were the best. So the people who are putting the best thoughts into it are going to be featured more than those who don't take a lot of time, right? Rob says, sounds like one of those things that could take off or not. Who knows? I know. I mean, it's kind of a risk, All business is a risk, but this to me is something that isn't quite being done the way that I'm imagining it. And I think it would be, at least in a certain niche, it would be something people would really love. And it would also be something that, I can contribute to it as much as I like, I can, but I don't have to do anything even. And the website's real purpose, which is to feature you guys and your thoughts on it, get people following you, it would still thrive. So it would be the type of business I could eventually walk away from if I found a reason or felt that was necessary. I could walk away from it and it would still function because the users would provide the content, not me. So that's the idea. We'll see how it fleshes out. I think what we planned yesterday was really cool, but it was just the beginning. There's a lot more functionality to figure out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You should have a minimum word count for or on reviews or something, or maybe low effort reviews can be posted, but don't factor into the meta rating. Yeah, I think that it's impossible to address the trolling aspect of ratings. Because ratings are going to be separate for reviews. Anyone can you have to sign up. You have to create an account on the website in order to give a rating. But there's no stopping people from just giving a 0 to something because they don't like Nintendo. You know what I mean? We won't be able to control that necessarily. But what we can control is the type of written content that is featured. That is something I think we'll be able to really push the good stuff, so that when people come on the website, they'll be getting really thoroughly thought through information on the game. And I think we'll probably, like, when you click on a game and you go to its own page, we'll have a lot of information there. Not totally unlike Rotten Tomatoes, so Rotten Tomatoes, you click on a movie, you go to the movies page, and it has like a consensus. We probably won't do a consensus. We'll probably feature like a carousel of user reviews that are highly rated here. But we will have like info on it, right? So you can read about like a synopsis of it. The genre and all kinds of stuff. How long it takes to beat it, I think, will be key. Like, that might be a piece of information we'd put here. How long it takes to do just the main story versus like a completionist run. Like, that information, I think we'll try to get in there somehow. That may or may not happen depending on, I don't know. That could or could not be in there. That's a dream of mine to do that, but that might be hard considering that won't be part of like the database we'd be drawing from. That might be something we'd have to put in manually, and that can't happen until howlongtobeat.com would put out essentially their numbers, but that takes people playing it, right, before you can actually get a good sense. So a lot of people would have to beat the game first before you get these numbers. Anyways, I don't know. We're in the very early stages of planning right now, so. Yes, and then our videos, links, we would embed our own YouTube videos on specific games. So every review I've ever done would be embedded within the page of that game on the website. So you go to the Xenogears page, my Xenogears review will be embedded there for sure. And the Resonant Arc score. The Resonant Arc score will be there alongside the user score, right? And then I would probably have all of my videos transcribed into articles as well. And I think that what I would have happen is that, like, when you sign up, when you like make an account on the website, then you can go and you can start subscribing to other people, right? But you would be automatically subscribed to like the Resonant Arc channel, where all of our videos would be transcribed into article form.
And you could unsubscribe to us if you wanted to, but just by signing up, you at least have one subscription already, which would be us. So you'd see our content whenever we upload something. But then you could go and subscribe to a bunch of other people. Rob says, poor Dark Phoenix. The X series is to end with such a whimper. Yep. I didn't even see the last one. I remember liking Days of Future Past, the second one. I thought that was pretty good. I did not like the first one. I think it mostly bugged me the way that, what's her name? The blue Mystique. The way that she, like, and Xavier are sort of like, what do you call it? Estranged in the end of that movie. I didn't like how that unfolded. I didn't buy it. But the second one I thought was a lot of fun. That sequence with the fast guy like running around was like one of the coolest things I've seen in recent memory in a movie theater. But I didn't see that third one because it got really bad reviews. And this one's also not doing well, so oh well. Nothing's ever going to beat X-Men 2 anyways. That opening sequence with Nightcrawler, like, infiltrating the White House is freaking incredible. It's super sick. And Doom Guy just said X-Men 2 is the best one in my opinion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nothing will beat X-Men 2. I think when I was in high school, I'd go see movies like over and over again. Most notably, I'd go and see the Lord of the Rings films. I saw the first Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship of the Ring. I saw that 12 times in the movie theaters. That movie blew my effing mind. The Two Towers, I think I saw 5 times, and then Return of the King, I think I saw 3. So my enthusiasm for it kind of went down with time. But I think X-Men 2 came out pretty soon after Fellowship of the Ring. And I think I went and saw X-Men 2 6 or 7 times in the theater. That movie was so sweet. Freaking loved it. And each time, it was mostly just to watch the Nightcrawler sequence at the beginning of the movie. It was so cool. I wonder if that's on YouTube. I'll watch it right now. It was right there. This video is going to get flagged now, but whatever. I'll watch it with the sound off. How about that? Let's move forward a little bit here. I did remember reading about that. Solid Snake writing on this movie. Dude, this is going really slow because I'm exporting right now, but such a freaking sick sequence. Especially when he actually gets into the Oval Office. He's just like zipping around, like disappearing, reappearing. That shot was sick. I love that, where they just hear the sounds of it in the other room. And the slow motion sequence, yeah, this is freaking sweet. I seriously went and saw this movie 7 times just to watch this part. 6 or 7 times, I can't remember how many, but it was a lot. We got shot. It's like, we need to get rid of fetching mutants. This is crazy. Anyways, great movie. Well, we're 24 minutes into this render. 39 minutes left. Maybe it is going to be over an hour as it originally estimated. I'll keep that open for now. And that as well. Chocolate Rub says the Mozart track, or that Mozart track, was quite popular at the time. He used great in Onimusha 3 as well. Nice. Coming on 4 o'clock now. I'll be right back. In a couple minutes. Okay, I'm back. Alright, moving into the last sequence here. Wait, 39 minutes haven't elapsed? I think that is wrong. Last time I was looking at this, it was 24. I didn't go away for freaking 15 minutes. Yeah, it's going faster than 1 second. There, the seconds are counting too fast. It's probably been 20-ish minutes, 25-ish minutes so far. Didn't think about that black space right there. I don't think there's any sand. Oh well. Should be okay. I don't think it'll matter too much. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. All right, moving into the last position here. Almost there. Has it really been 47 minutes since I started this? It doesn't feel like it. It's crazy. Does not seem like it. Suppose one extra step I could have taken would have been to put like depth of field in this, so that like this part of the image is in sharper focus than this part. And that as it moves, it would like the depth of field would change. That probably would have made it look pretty cool. Oh well, too late now.
Steph Curry at
When you look at this,
More
Come on, we're almost there. Excuse me again. When is crosscode coming to the Switch? But when? Just in 2019 at some point? When was this published? Yeah, there's
They've already announced it since then. I mean, I guess they haven't set a exactly release date for it, but... Oh yeah, this is almost done. I don't believe that was 53 minutes. I believe it was probably 35, 40 minutes. Sweet. Import that shiz. Yeah, that's right. It's about 7 gigabytes. We're gonna put you into here. There you are. Let's watch it. Someone has been manipulating the sands. Gameplay where they no longer saw the player or attacked them, which meant the player could not progress past those sequences. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance, a dedicated technical level designer could have foreseen all these issues and fixed them before alpha. Once again, we were not dealing with the problems in a strategic way. We were putting out fires as... Fetch me. I didn't check the beginning animation. The rest of them are pretty good, but that one it's too high in the frame. It's hard to read it. Dang it. Can't believe that. It needs to start a lot higher camera position. Like somewhere like there. And then the ending position needs to be like also a lot higher. So that it lands in the middle. Fetch, that sucks. If I rendered it a quarter. Will I even be able to read it though? Probably not. Third. Yeah, I can kind of read it now. Well, I'm gonna have to re-render that whole thing, so. I think while I'm at it, I might as well put the sand into the background of those parts that didn't have them. Oh man, I effed up. I effed up. I effed up. So much could have been done in the earlier stages of development to prevent these problems. If only the maps and gameplay had been delivered in advance.
Still not high enough, or still too high in the frame. It needs to be in the middle. I'm guessing this also needs to be the same. Like lower part of the frame, like that. I think the rest of it I checked. I think I might adjust the animation on the part about bugs so that it enters, like where it says 14,000 bugs, it enters right when I actually say that. But I think the timings on the other one are done so that it's legible, and because I checked those, I know that I checked those. But I do need to put a sand background into the last part, which will make that look a little better, I think. In any case, I think I'm going to stop the stream here because this is going to take another freaking 40 minutes to export, so I'm not going to be able to finish this section today. Thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow. Have a good day. Peace out.